This is Al Emery from Momentum Software Solutions, taking you through a quick comparison of MYOB Advanced ERP and Wiise ERP. So I'm going to start with Logon and navigation and ease of use. So you should see my browser here, and I'll start with MYOB Advanced. So being a browser-based application, you log in with a username and password. MYOB Advanced has two-factor authentication and more recently single sign-on with Azure. Separately, I'll open my Wiise demonstration environment. And because Wiise is part of the Office 365 family of products, because I'm already logged in to SharePoint Office 365, I don't need to log in again to access Wiise. So the first thing you'll see in each system is a presentation that's pre-configured for your role or user, and that can be, in the case of MYOB Advanced, a dashboard or any screen that is set as your home page. So each person has a user profile, and the home page can be set to any screen in MYOB Advanced. The other thing that you'll notice is that the menu navigation is to the left. So each module or functional part of the system you can access via a menu, and within each menu you'll see profiles, processes, reports, inquiries, and the commonly used parts, or access to everything depending on your role. In Wiise, you'll see that the navigation is more vertical. So rather than menus down the left, we have menus at the top. So each functional area, if you click on the little widget there, you'll see the different individual functions or features that you might access from that module, again, based on your role, or what in Wiise is called a role center. So I'm accessing the Business Manager role center. Each screen is customizable. So if we go back to Advanced, one thing you'll notice is that you have this dashboard here. Any of those dashboards can be edited, again, subject to user permissions. So you can add, remove, move around the different widgets that make up this dashboard. Any of the information in these dashboards is drillable. So by clicking on it, you would then drill through to more detailed information. Likewise, in Wiise, I can choose to personalize my view, and that gives me the ability to add, remove, reorder any of the information on this screen. So I can move things about, add, remove, right through what's available on this Business Manager Role Center profile. I'd say the color palette in Wiise is a little bit more subtle. So the out-of-the-box dashboard that you see is well organized on the screen, and scrolling down, you can see things that a business manager might want to see. So business performance, cash flow forecast, financial performance, taking into account receivables, payables, liquid funds, cash flow, trial balance, email inbox, approvals. You can add Power BI into that report. The other thing that both solutions offer is a search bar or a global search. So in the search bar in Wiise, as soon as I start typing, I'll then be given options for accessing parts of the system with matching words. So sales credit memos, sales orders, sales invoices, sales reports. It gives me the option to search in the help. And it actually also brings up add-ons from the Microsoft App Source that might relate to the subject I've searched for. You can also multitask. So one thing that people like to do a lot, especially those of us that use multiple monitors, is to do two things or have two screens open at once, either in separate tabs or in separate screens. So I can duplicate this tab in Wiise and then access, say, purchase orders. And obviously, if you are having multiple monitors, you can move that across to your second monitor quite easily. In Advanced, you have similar options. So the global search at the top, and it does probably a little bit more than Wiise in terms of the global search. So let's say I type in sales, then immediately without hitting enter, I get any matching menu item with the word sales. If I hit enter, then it will search transactionally for any record in the system matching that, be it part of a customer name or part of a transaction. And then if I hit enter again, it will search in the help. So probably a little bit more flexible in the global search for MYOB Advanced. The other thing that I'd add is the multitasking is probably slightly easier because any menu item I could simply right click and go open in new tab, open in new window. So both support multitasking, multiple tabs, multiple browsers. So again, focusing on ease of use, some of the things that you might want to do is to filter lists of information. So for example, invoices and memos, adding and removing columns to the screen, and that would add those to your personal screen as opposed to globally. The other thing you can do in MYOB Advanced is to add filters. So as soon as you add a filter on different information, you can save that filter. And for example, this is a filter containing only balanced invoices. And this one is set as a shared filter that everybody could access. One thing that Advanced enables you to do from a search screen is create a pivot table. So this virtually renders your invoice list as an age trial balance straight on the screen by using the pivot. And if we look at the pivot options, you can just simply see you drag fields into your rows, columns, and values, and then that will display the pivot exactly like that. In Wiise, you have similar options in that you can personalize any of these search grids, add fields to the grid, move or remove fields from the grid, and also use filters and save those. So quite similar. The only thing you can't do in Wiise is create a pivot on the fly for that. But one thing you can do in Wiise, which is very nice, is sharing and editing. So a Wiise screen can be opened in Excel, which will simply export that data into an Excel spreadsheet. But if you edit it in Excel, it will open a linked spreadsheet, enabling you to edit some of these fields, and it will directly write it back without having to do a separate import. And you can also share to teams. So the Excel integration, being a Microsoft product, is outstanding in Wiise. In Advanced, you can export to Excel, and certain screens allow you to upload from a file, and there is a number of other ways of importing data from Excel, but not quite as well integrated as Wiise. So I'm going to touch on multiple companies now. Both systems support multiple companies, but they do it in different ways. In Advanced, you can have multiple companies all in the same database. And one advantage of that is that people can transact against any of those companies in the one screen without having to jump backwards and forwards into different companies or even into different screens. So if we look at an example, each company has its own name and key information, address, etc., ABN branch number if you're grouped for GST, and can also have a different visual appearance, which means that the color palette around the outside and the logo would automatically update depending on which one you choose. And this one is then broken down into two branches, being Melbourne and Sydney, for that company. Now, what that enables me to do in MYOB Advanced is have a single general ledger chart of accounts, a single list of customers and suppliers and inventory, and then use that any of that information across all of the companies. And even say in my list of invoices, I can filter on the branch, and branch basically means company. So I can see all transactions for all companies in one screen. and I can report on any company if I do a P&L from within the one screen. The other thing that Advanced handles quite well is intercompany trading. So if you have multiple companies and they buy and sell from each other, then a sales order where company A is selling to company B will generate a purchase order in company B. And when that sales order is supplied and invoiced, it will create a receipt and accounts payable invoice in company B. And there's a number of other intercompany transactions that can be done. In Wiise, the companies are a little bit different. They are separate databases and they have their own master files. And you can switch between companies basically by saying, I'm going to switch, and I'm going to open that in a new tab, and then I can be transacting in multiple companies, but I would be doing it in a slightly different way. Let's do that one. So I can transact and report in multiple companies at the same time, albeit the databases are in fact separate. Wiise does also support intercompany trading, so long as you have got alignment of data, so you can still buy and sell between your companies, and the opposing transactions will automatically be created for you. Just has a slightly different architecture in doing that. I'll just touch now on email integration. Both MYOB Advanced and Wiise have Outlook add-ins that allow you to interact and transact within your inbox and create records and transactions in the ERP. So we'll start with the MYOB Advanced Outlook add-in. So if I have an email from somebody, I can click on that email and then click on the MYOB Advanced mobile app. If it recognizes this person based on their email address, it will tell me who they are and what business they're related to. If it doesn't recognize them at all, I can create that record as a lead or a contact. So let's go ahead and do a lead. And the reason I'm doing that is a lead allows me to quickly capture the person as well as something about their business. So I can just add in a business name. Often this would be picked up from their email address anyway, or the email signature, and I can create that lead. Now that it's a lead, I can actually create an opportunity or log an activity. So if that contact already existed, I would have additional options to that where I can create a case in the service or CRM module, or create an opportunity, or simply log the activity, which will record the email against their account. So if I jump back into the browser, refresh my screen here, then here I can see Chris, who's just been created as a lead. And in MYOB Advanced CRM, a lead can be converted into a prospect, an account, as well as just simply convert to an opportunity. And an opportunity allows you to create a quote, be it a sales quote or a project quote, and then progress that through to a transaction.
I'm going to show you how Wiise seamlessly integrates with other Microsoft apps. So for example, I'll bring up my Outlook and I have received a request from a customer. I can get further details from that customer using Contacts Insights. And this will give me historical data, any amounts owing, any current sales orders, what has been shipped to the customer. Just really useful data to can help analyze the data without leaving your Outlook. You can also add links and notes, and this will all write back to Wiise. Further to that, if I wanted to create an order while I'm still in Microsoft Outlook, I can go to here and go to sales order. And you can see that the item matches. You can pick the items and click OK. And here you can create and update the sales order. You can change any information. And if you want to go back and work in the Wiise ERP, you can go back to Wiise and view your sales orders. And there it is. You can also view data in Microsoft Teams. So here I have, you can look at different data sets. So here I have vendor, items, bank accounts, and chart of accounts. So while you're in Microsoft Teams, you can go into customers and view their data. You can also update this data and it'll talk back to Wiise.
Both MYOB Advanced and Wiise have a mobile app. So again, I'm showing you the MYOB Advanced mobile app on my phone. I can use my Face ID to log in. The mobile app supports both iOS and Android and supports quite a lot of the functionality that you would see in the ERP. Not every single function, but much of it. So time and expenses allows me to do expense receipts and claims, etc. Enter time. From a CRM perspective, I can look at opportunities, quotes, orders, etc. Projects, purchases. So many of the key features that you see in the ERP are available in the mobile app.
So if you are working on the go, for instance, you're at a client's site and you need to access your ERP system, you can do so using a tablet or a mobile. So on the left, I have the tablet view of how your dashboard will look like, and on the right, the same view for the mobile. You could review a lot of data sets in here. You look at your sales. You can also create a sales, for example, a sales quote. You can create that, whether if you're on a customer site, you can quote them while you're there. You don't need to go back to your office. And the same for mobile. So I can create a sales invoice and then input all my data.